Most people think low intelligence shows up in grades, IQ tests, or big mistakes, but psychologists say the opposite. Your brain reveals itself in the tiny habits you ignore. And the scariest part? These habits don't just make you look less intelligent. They literally rewire your brain to become less intelligent over time. Blindly following trends. Every month a new identity, new aesthetic, new slang, new personality, all imported straight from whatever is trending. This looks like creativity, but most of the time it is just herd mentality, copying the group to feel safe and accepted. Intelligence asks one powerful question: do I actually want this, or am I just scared of being different? If your personality changes with every trend cycle, that is not self-expression. It is emptiness looking for something to attach to. Fear of being alone. Some people panic at silence. No music, no TV, no podcast, no background noise, just their own thoughts, and they instantly reach for their phone. Psychology links this constant need for distraction with weak mental processing. The brain is so unused to real thinking that it needs noise to avoid itself. Intelligent minds use alone time to reflect, solve problems, and plan. If you cannot sit with yourself for 10 minutes without grabbing a screen, that is not "I'm social, I love stimulation." That is avoidance disguised as personality. Gaming without learning. Gaming itself is not a sign of low intelligence. In fact, games can sharpen reaction time, pattern recognition, and strategy if you use them that way. The real issue is the gamer who has played for years and never improves. Same mistakes, same rage, same excuses, no reflection. Intelligent minds look for patterns, refine their strategy, and adapt after every loss. Low intelligence repeats the same behavior endlessly and blames lag, teammates, or the game instead of adjusting. Time spent is not what grows you. Reflection is. Living only on small talk. There are people who can talk for hours and say absolutely nothing. Weather, traffic, office gossip, thank God it's Friday, and that is as deep as it ever goes. Small talk is fine as an opener. The issue is when it is your entire personality. Psychologists call this a low need for cognition, not enjoying real thinking. In contrast, intelligent people crave conversations about ideas, stories, systems, and why, not just surface-level what. If you want to level up, start asking better questions. What are you working on that excites you? What's a belief you change your mind about? Confidence without content. Everyone has met the loudest person in the room. They interrupt, dominate the conversation, explain topics they barely understand, and talk like they are the expert in everything. Then you listen closely, and there is nothing there. This is the Dunning-Kruger effect. The less someone knows, the more they overestimate their own intelligence. Real intelligence looks almost opposite. It is comfortable saying, "I don't know," asking follow-up questions, and updating its opinion when presented with new information. If your confidence is louder than your knowledge, you are not impressing people. You are broadcasting low awareness. Blind obedience to instructions. Some people treat rules and instructions like sacred scripture. If the manual is wrong, they still follow it. If the recipe says 20 minutes but the food is clearly raw, they will eat it because that's what it said. If the GPS tells them to drive straight into a lake, they argue with reality instead of the map. This is not discipline, it is mental laziness. Smarter people use instructions as a guide, then adapt when reality gives different data. The moment you notice, this isn't working, low intelligence doubles down, while high intelligence adjusts. Chasing easy answers. Some people cannot stand not knowing, so they grab the first explanation that feels dramatic and complete. Secret elites, hidden plots, they controlling everything. It is a quick way to turn a messy world into a simple story. Psychology shows that conspiracy-style thinking often comes from a craving for certainty and control when life feels confusing or scary. Instead of sitting with, "This is complex," the brain reaches for a shortcut that blames a villain and wraps everything up in one neat narrative. Smart thinkers do the opposite. They slow down, check evidence, compare sources, and accept that some questions don't have instant, clean answers. Weak thinking grabs whatever feels emotionally satisfying and never tests if it is actually true. The real cost is that chasing easy stories steals time and energy from the boring real problems you could actually fix. Your sleep, your money, your skills, your relationships. Rigid thinking. Some people have one favorite sentence: "That's not how we do things." New tools, new strategies, new ideas. They reject them, not because they are bad, but simply because they are different. Psychologists call this mental inflexibility, the inability to update your thinking when reality changes. Intelligent people constantly adjust. Rigid thinkers stay stuck, and life punishes stuck. Jobs move on, technology moves on, relationships move on, while rigid minds keep repeating, "But this is how I've always done it." Addiction to instant gratification. Why sit in discomfort when you can scroll, snack, binge, or swipe the feeling away in seconds. Modern life trains your brain to chase tiny dopamine hits and avoid anything that feels like effort. Psychology shows that constant instant rewards kill patience and make long-term thinking feel painful. The famous marshmallow test found that kids who could not delay gratification struggled more later with money, school, and health. Smart people deliberately choose short-term discomfort for long-term wins. Reading instead of scrolling, working instead of procrastinating, saving instead of flexing. Low intelligence calls every quick fix living in the moment, and then wonders why the future never improves. Poor listening. Watch how most people listen. They interrupt, they are mentally rehearsing their reply, or they just nod while their brain is somewhere else. Listening is active intelligence. To really listen, the brain has to process new perspectives, hold details in working memory, and integrate new information. Poor listeners often have weak comprehension skills, so they zone out the moment something becomes complex. Smart minds can learn from anyone. Low minds assume, "I already know," and miss the lesson right in front of them. Reflex dismissal of new ideas. That's dumb. That'll never work. Why would anyone do that? You hear this every day when someone suggests anything unfamiliar. Reflex rejection is not wisdom. It is mental laziness disguised as experience. Intelligent people may still disagree, but they explore ideas first. They ask, could this work? Under what conditions? What would have to be true? Before deciding. Low intelligence avoids the effort of thinking, so it uses instant dismissal as a shortcut. Doom scrolling and TV as a lifestyle. Watching a show or scrolling a bit is not a problem. The problem is when a bit quietly becomes 2, 3, 4 hours every single day. Studies show that constant scrolling trains your brain to crave novelty and dopamine spikes, frying your ability to focus on anything deep or slow. You start needing chaos just to feel normal. Smart people balance entertainment with growth. For every chunk of mindless consumption, there is time spent learning, building, or creating. Lower intelligence sinks into endless consumption while telling itself, I'm relaxing, as life quietly slips by. Chronic sleep neglect. You tell yourself you are built different because you function on 4 hours of sleep and caffeine. You scroll until 3 a.m., then crawl out of bed like a zombie, bragging about being tired like it is some kind of achievement. In reality, sleep loss wrecks your memory, focus, and decision-making so badly that your brain functions like it is mildly drunk the next day. You think you are operating at 100%, when in reality you are running on 40% and calling it normal. Intelligent people treat sleep like a non-negotiable investment because they know it is the foundation on which every other thought sits. Neglecting it is not strength, it is slow self-sabotage. Low intelligence is not really about being born smart or not. It is about the invisible habits you repeat when nobody is watching. Keep these behaviors, and your brain slowly rewires itself to stay stuck, reactive, and easy to manipulate. Break them, and you will feel your thinking sharpen, your confidence solidify, and your standards for yourself and others rise. Most people will hear this, nod, and then go straight back to the same patterns that are quietly dumbing them down. If you are not most people, pick one habit from this video and start changing it today. If you want more psychology-backed breakdowns like this to upgrade how you think, not just how you look, hit subscribe and stay tuned for the next video.